When chapman billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy, and getting fou and unca happy, we think now on the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky sullen dame, gathering her brows like a gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand on is Tam O'Shanter, as he free air ye nicht did canter, all there whom ne'er a town surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise as ta'en thine wife Kate's advice, she told thee weel thou was a skellum, a bletherin', blusterin', drunken blellum, that frae November till October, ye market day thou wasna sober, that ilka milder wi' the miller thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every naig was ca'd a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring fou on, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank with Kirk and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks i' the murk by Alloway's old haunted Kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how mony counsels sweet, who mony lengthened sage advices, the husband frae the wife despises. But to our tale, ye mark it nicht, Tam had got planted uncorrect, fast by an ingle bleezing finely, wi' Raymond swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty drouthy crony. Tam looed him like a very brother, they had been fou for weeks together. The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with secret favours sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rair and rustle, Tam didna mind a storm, a whistle. Care mad to see a man sae happy, and drowned himsel among the nappy. As bees flew hame, we laid to treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread, you see the flower its bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white then melts forever, or like the borealis race that flit ere ye can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form vanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide, the hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That oer an ich's black arch the keystane, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sick a night he taks the road in, as near Pear Synod was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blawn its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That nicht a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scotch sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where geists and hoolets nechtly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snow the chapman smoored, and past the birks and meikle stain, where drunken Charlie bracks neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a bleeze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou can make us scorn. With Tippany we fear nae evil, wi' Euskie Bay we'll face the devil. The swats sae reamed in Tammy's noddle, fair play, Cardna deals a boddle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the licht, and wow, Tam saw an unco sicht. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillon Brent knew frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspies and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker i' the east, there sat old Nick in shape a beast, a towsy tyke, black grim and large, to give them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters a' did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that showed the deed in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip slight, each in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the haly table a murdered banes and gibbet airns, twad, span, lang, wean, christened bairns, a thief new cutted frae the rape, wi' his last gasp his gab did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood reed rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife of either's throat had mangled, whom his ain son a life bereft, the grey hairs yet stuck to the heft, wi' mair o horrible and awfu', which e'en to name would be unlawfu'. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious, the piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till ilka carlin swat and reek it, and coosed her durries to the wark, and link it at it in her sark. Now Tam, oh Tam, they been queens all plump and strappin', in their teens their sarks instead of creasy flannin been snow white, 1700 linen. Their breets of mine, my only pair, that once were plush, a good blue hair, I would have gi'en them off my hurdies for ye blink o' the bonny birdies. But withered bailed dams, old and droll, rig woody hags had speed a foal, loupin' and flingin' on a crummock, a wonderin' didna turn a stomach. But Tam kent what was wit fu brawly, there was ye winsome wench and wally, that night enlisted in the corps, long after Kent on Carrick shore, for mony a beast to dead she dote, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shoot baith meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark of paisley hand, that while a lassie she had worn, and long the cheat, though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vanity, A little kent thy reverend granny, that sack she coughed for her wee nanny, with £12 Scots, 'twas all her riches, would ever grace a dance o' witches. But here my muse her wingman cower, sic flichts are far beyond her power, to sing how nanny loppin' flying, a supple George he was and strang, and how Tam stood like gane bewitched, and thought his very ain enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu fain, and hotched and blew a micht and main, till first ye keeper sign another, Tam tint his reason all together, and roars out, "Well done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees buzz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their byke, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before the nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' mony an eldritch screech and hollow. A Tam, they'll get thy faring, in hell they'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystane o' the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they darena cross. But ere the keystane she should make, the faint a tail she had to shake. For Nanny far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle, but little wist she Maggie's mettle. Ye spring brocht aff her master hale, but left behind her ain great tail. The carlin clocht her by the rump, and left puir Maggie scarce a stump. Now wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mither's son tak heed, whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or Cutty Sarks run in your mind, think ye may by the joys hour dear, remember Tam O'Shanter's mare.